Hi everyone and welcome back to the For Marketers podcast. So today we are addressing an interesting topic actually. So we obviously speak a lot about marketing, and marketing is about stakeholders and our customers, but what about people who want to work with us? What about people who want to join our workforce or be hired by us? So we're going to be discussing recruitment and how marketing plays into that. And so we've got a special guest here today, Morgan, who is a HR marketing and consultant and specialist. And he's going to be discussing with us how we can use marketing to attract the right people and resonate with the right people. So first, introductions. So my name is Melotti from Melotti Media Copywriting and Message Marketing. We help you engage your audiences, inspire action, and achieve results with the right words.
I'm Mike Sandys, Managing Director of Oddball Marketing. We're a full-service marketing agency.
Hi everyone, I'm Ariel Peters from Two Drafts. We are a full-service creative agency that does strategy, creative, live production, animation, and photography.
And hello everybody, my name is Kristen Hancock and I'm from Fontaine Swatch Branding Design Studio, and we create profound brands for the mid-market Australia.
Right, so let's delve right into this. So one of the most challenging things that businesses face is recruitment and finding the right people to work with us and stay with us for a long time. And so we need to be speaking to those people. So Morgan, let's start. So how do you think, in terms of a general sense, and we'll drill in, how do you think marketing plays into this HR recruitment space at the moment?
Okay. I think to understand recruitment marketing, probably the best thing to do would be to, I guess, draw comparisons to the standard marketing funnel that you guys would use. Mm-hmm. If you look at the normal customer journey, yes, the first thing you need to do is you need to inform them and make them aware of your product, then provide them the tools that they need to consider the product, and then the end result is that they convert, and you need to make it easy for them to go through that process and ultimately make a sale. When it comes to recruitment marketing, that process is essentially the same. If you consider, say, a job ad or a careers page as a landing page and the apply now button as a call to action, you're essentially there. The only thing that really changes is it's pretty unique in the sense that your product is also your customer. So you're trying to buy something from someone more than you're actually trying to sell an opportunity to them. So there's a lot more investment involved by both parties. There's a lot more risk and a lot more emotions get kind of brought into that process. And so the things that you would typically use to sell to a customer aren't going to work for an employee.
So what is it? I know that right now in Australia, every time I talk to business owners, they're saying it's so hard to find employees right now. But I don't see many of them really doing much in the form of employee brand or marketing. So why don't you think that's happening? How could they start doing that?
I think we're quite fortunate in that it's only recently become a candidate short market in a lot of areas. With COVID and tech companies booming, there's a lot of kind of sought after jobs that are getting harder and harder to fill for that kind of smaller, mid-sized company. And so, the concept of recruitment marketing, has evolved a lot more than just posting a job ad and having a careers page.
Right.
So the way
the businesses are defaulting to that anyway. Yeah. And even the larger ones, they're just going, write me a Seek ad. And I'm like, why don't we do a video? Why don't we write some of their values? Why don't we change the message to be more about them rather than, this is what we need you for? So I agree with you there. Yeah. Sorry, I just thought
no, it's okay. I think the way that you would typically, say if we talked about the customer journey of an employee, typically in the olden days being a few months ago.
Extra marketing's there, right? Yeah. It changes every month, but go.
So you post a job ad on, say, Seek or LinkedIn, and people search for that job title. And they see, there's a job title available, and then they'll do the research on the company. But more and more, there's people that already have jobs, and you need to kind of passively find candidates. And so you can't rely on that as a method for getting your brand out there or building trust anymore. I mean, it's more about actively marketing to people that are already happy in their roles. So things have changed a little bit. But unfortunately, because things have to be authentic, This is driven mainly from, say, talent acquisition managers or heads of talent who aren't typically across, digital marketing techniques and how to use those techniques. The argument is if you were to use a marketing team, you would be taking away from their core objective, which is bringing money in for the company. And so it's a strange new world that we're kind of going through. And I think over the next few months we'll start to see some pretty radical changes in the way that we're using, say, analytics and technologies to make things easier for us to track kind of how a job is performing, track the market better and make it easier for people to do their research on the companies.
Because I think the way I sometimes think about it is the job market's actually set up with the strength in the job market now. It's not the traditional ways, completely gone where you used to have recruitment agencies dotted around and you'd go and meet them and stuff. Now the social platforms really dominate the seats of the world and the LinkedIn, etc. But they're set up for that generic post and ad, as you said, post and ad, search for a role. Whereas if company really, I think what you're saying is employer marketing should be about, before somebody even goes and searches for a role, they should be, if you're doing it well, you should be searching for your company. Because, back in the day when I grew up, which was years ago, you would look at market leaders and you would follow them and say, I want to work for such and such because they're a market leader and they're at the forefront and you've got a long-term career with them, etc. But now it's more about, I see people and employees, they're wanting to be aligned to a particular business because the values of that business align with them personally. I am getting to a point, yet our social platforms are geared towards that traditional style of just search for a job and then go and see if the business is okay. So how does a company actually position itself better to attract the candidates before they even post the job?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people focus really heavily on things like careers pages to get information across to candidates, but I kind of look more at careers pages as, say, email marketing, in the sense that, for every 100 people that visit that site, it's like 100 people that get an email, maybe 50% of them are actually going to look at it because they want to do their own research and they want to, people are very averse to direct marketing these days. So they want information coming from people that they trust. And the people that they trust are usually advocates of the company. So say employees that are happy, people sending messages saying it was great working here and I've got to go, Glassdoor reviews, that kind of thing. Yep. And so it's a little bit difficult to show authenticity through doing anything but just promoting your company and your company's values. Through other methods. So either by driving advocacy inside of your company or even, posting your successes from, third-party sites, like say if you're featured in a news article or if you are given an award for being those business awards that people seem to get 100 of per company every week. Posting.
Are you saying there's paid business awards?
I'm not saying anything but I'm just saying that marketing that content is actually probably more respected and more kind of valued than just going on a careers page and reading, oh, what a great office, and oh, we value our people. It's like, well, okay, but everyone values their people. It's all very basic stuff, and it's very hard to communicate what you actually care about and what you value through a careers page.
Are you seeing that businesses are now getting very serious about about employment and about attracting and spending time marketing and attracting people to their companies? Or is this still kind of one of those second thoughts that HR kind of get left behind?
I think there are two solutions to filling a role, say a hard to find role. You can throw more money at recruitment. If you've got, say, 10 people that are out there headhunting, you're covering a lot more bases and you maybe will get some good talent. Or there's investing in growing your employer brand, changing internal processes, as well as kind of getting that news out there and then waiting for that reputation to grow to a point where, say if I've got a 1994 Toyota Corolla, right? I'm not in the market going, man, my Corolla's getting old. I really want a 1995 Toyota Corolla. They want a brand new car, and so you need to create a competitive advantage where your company is attractive enough that people are willing to take the risk and invest, I guess, a third of their life in joining your company over another company. And so it's about identifying unique things that you do and selling that.
So in saying that, in terms of the things that we do, what have been some of the ones that you've seen more recently as they're the key reasons or key, I suppose, part of the mix that they take on board and go, I actually will move to that company? What are the things that you see are key ones that are driving you? Yeah.
Okay, I just realised I didn't actually answer your last question. so your last question kind of talked about what two methods there were, or how important it was to companies. So I guess that's a really long-term investment, and that's an expensive investment and a time investment that involves millions of turning wheels and cogs to make that happen. Or you could throw more money at recruiters, and the same thing might happen as well. So at the moment, I mean, companies are kind of, I guess it's not something that people have invested in as much as they probably should. But then, if you're looking at it from a business owner's perspective, is investing all of that money worth it? It's a tough question, in a lot of cases.
I mean, I think definitely I've been seeing a big trend in requesting recruitment videos recently, where a lot of my clients are asking for recruiting videos. So I think they're definitely starting to see the importance of proper marketing.
Are they calling them recruiting videos?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes,
Yeah. Because they're realizing that they need, there's all this content that's going towards their products, but not any content about actually what's happening behind the scenes. So it is something that seems to be happening. I just think one of the things that I've seen personally, I don't know your viewpoint on it, is that it's a little confusing on who's supposed to handle it, because the marketing team's so divided from the HR and recruitment team and don't always know exactly what's going on within the company and how to present those values. But then the HR and the recruitment don't have the marketing expertise. So I've seen it kind of get shifted from both of those sectors of people when creating one of those videos.
Yeah. So it's like a tug of war sometimes. If you're looking at a company's priorities a lot of the time, fair enough, you're going to want money. That's how companies operate. And so there's a lot of focus for, say, marketing, for sales, for all of the support units in a company to invest their time in supporting the thing that they're, that's keeping the company afloat. So when you're trying to take away resources from, your moneymaker to invest them in another support function, it sometimes can be a bit of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So it's about, a lot of the time, your heads of talent, your talent acquisition managers are having to take a lot of this under their belt and just kind of wing it, I guess, which is why you're not seeing a lot of modern day marketing techniques being used for marketing, and you're not seeing professional videography coming out of a lot of careers pages, even though maybe they'll spend $45,000 to $50,000 on their promotional materials. A lot of the time it's not uncommon to see some dude with an iPhone just filming the inside of the office for their careers page. So,
So what are some, I guess, tips or recommendations? Because I know right now this is a huge issue in the market and it is hard to get employees. What could be some things that companies could start doing right away to work on their employee marketing and branding? I
think middle of funnel is the thing that's the most overlooked. Middle of funnel being consideration for non-marketers. So, the part where you're trying to instill trust is probably the most important part in recruitment marketing, because that's what's going to get you conversions. There's a lot more on the line, so people are going to need to be able to do their research on a company. So making sure that careers page has the important information on it is the first thing. And then looking at other ways that your employees are going to work out who you are and what makes you worth working for. So, Instagram, Facebook, driving employer advocacy, driving, other websites to post the same way that you would build backlinks, but you're building trust backlinks, I guess, from other companies and other people. Just getting that ball rolling is probably the highest impact activity that you can do for recruitment marketing. You could invest in video, I guess, but that it really depends on where your company is prioritizing that budget.
Right, so you're saying, there's no sort of one way to do it. It's putting your brand out there and getting people to see it.
Yeah, making yourself vulnerable because you're expecting them to make you vulnerable. So showing your successes, showing giving them a true window into what it's like to work at your company.
That genuine side, I think, is challenging for businesses because when you see a lot of the, I suppose it's broadly recruitment marketing going out there, you'll often see an employee like on whether they're in a video or whether they're in just a social media post, and you see the employee and it's John Smith or Jane, whoever, seeing that they've worked for us for this long and they've done this and they've done that, and it's quite hard to get across that here's the company just tapping John Smith on the shoulder and saying, tell us your story, which of course John Smith's going to do their best, but how genuine is it? So how do you tackle that where actually making a story that's a good news story that the company wants to get out and say, this is what the culture's like, this is what it's like working with us. How do you get out there and make it really genuine so people don't just go, oh, it's just the company talking about themselves. They scripted it, they wrote it themselves, and, John Smith just sat there and nodded.
I don't think you can force it. I think, with anything genuine, there's no amount of pressure that I can do as a recruitment marketing consultant to force people to give me genuine feedback.
Yeah.
It's more about being aware of everything that's happening, staying on social channels, watching the feed, making sure that if something genuine comes up, that you're leveraging that opportunity. Say somebody posts about, to give you an example of a great experience that Koala use. Koala Mattress is a company that I work for. They put a lot of effort into onboarding new staff. So when a new staff member arrived, they'd get a laptop, they'd get like a toy koala, a personalized thank you note. And that lends to people posting pictures about that pack and sharing them out. And then you've got yourself some genuine feedback on a great experience that somebody's having, and you're leveraging that by sharing it across your account. And people generally will share a co-worker's post. So you're really getting the message out there to a huge amount of people, being genuine without forcing it down somebody's throat.
And I bet it's more that's more consistent. I think sometimes when it feels forced is when it's only right when you're deciding to recruit, all of a sudden, boop, there's a video or a blog article about how great it is. Where when, you look at recruitment marketing as more of a all year round thing, then it feels a lot more authentic because it just seems like there's always conversations happening from that way. I mean, even while having this conversation, I realized I haven't really put all of what we do behind the scenes on our careers page and made that a priority. And it's so important because I think a lot of companies are actually doing some really great things and they do really care, but that hasn't always been something that we take the time to market.
Yeah, I do so much stuff.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Yeah, so the next one, what's your view on the use of actors to do recruitment or career marketing?
I think that the people who are more likely to watch your careers videos are going to be your staff. They're the ones that are going to be the most invested. They're the ones that are connected to all of the people that would be pushing it out. So if you hire an actor, you're going to look like they'll know. It'll just be it's just an uncomfortable experience. Like, oh, that guy, is he from our New York
That's
office?
Not Johnny from the accounting department, is it?
Who is that?
That's a great sign.
No one was pretty enough.
Plus, generally speaking, they have like a name and job title at the bottom. So whoever's working in that job title is probably going to feel like that's a replacement.
Yeah.
These are great insights. Look, I think we're more going to learn. Is there any last questions before we? I think this was really great.
Yeah. I think it's just, just hearing this, it's so true that employees are what makes your company what it is. It is your company, and the fact that we don't treat bringing on the right employees and doing the right storytelling marketing towards them like we do to get our customers is wild. And I think now that there is seeing the great resignation and it is becoming more of an employees marketing, I think world, I think we're going to see a lot more of this. Absolutely.
I think the interesting thing as well is that the more successful our economy gets, the bigger this problem will be. So, with our tech industry being what it is right now, and with companies booming, it's not going to end up affecting the companies that are booming. What will happen is you'll end up with a lot more jobs, people like open from the smaller companies that didn't keep up with their employer brand, that didn't get the message out there, because they'll be going to those larger companies, and they'll unfortunately be in a position where they didn't have the budget and they didn't have the foresight to invest. So it's a lot more risky the more our economy grows. So if you believe in those really large tech companies, then you should probably get on your recruitment marketing and your employer branding pretty quickly.
Well, that was a nice way to start. Everyone out there, please don't forget your recruitment, especially when it comes to marketing. So I want to thank you. We all want to thank you, Morgan, for coming on board.
Thank you for marketers. I'm glad I could be the spare tire of this marketing.
So thank you everyone for joining us for this episode of the 4 Marketers, and please subscribe and join us in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Bye.